Our first speaker is Gavin Esler, who presented Newsnight for 11 years. He has fascinating insights into what happens when trust breaks down. He covered the Clinton-Lewinsky hearings for BBC's News 24, and he's the host of Dateline London and Foreign Affairs series Four Corners. So please join me in welcoming Gavin.
I wanted to talk about two things tonight. One is indeed trust, because I think it's so important in our world, or perhaps I should say the lack of trust. The other thing I want to talk about, which is related to it, is how leaders tell stories to make other people trust them. And that was a book I published last year called Lessons from the Top, which is based on leaders that I have met, Angela Merkel, Bill Clinton, Mrs Thatcher, and others who all, in various ways, are expert storytellers.
Big changes happening in the world, whether it be social media, for instance, and the transparency that creates. Social media, and as a professor, I've noticed that the commonness of knowledge, the narrowing of the hierarchy of who's an expert and who isn't. We can all read about it on the web, we can all form an opinion. That challenges our modes of who's an authority and who isn't. Globalisation is undermining the power of governments. And so, of course, what we need is to rebuild our rules and our regulations and institutions in a new way. And I think this is a natural dynamic that one's going through. And I think it's particularly interesting at the moment, whether you look at the Arab Spring, the Occupy movement, or the success of Thomas Piketty's book, there's a big questioning of our economic institutions, and there's a common question being asked. Are our economic institutions being set up to generate broad-based, inclusive growth, or are they being run so that a few can become rich at the cost of the many?
And finally, they've always got to be your own stories, because authenticity and emotional intelligence are probably the two most highly prized qualities today in leadership. And you can always spot when the person, the woman I met, or the man I was talking to is a conversation that never happened. And because I have a lot of stories, I'm asked for stories all the time, and I don't any longer give them out. I keep them for myself.